Hello. A couple of videos back, the video that's entitled, Well, I would miss me, so why doesn't the narcissist miss me? That video started out as this video, and it ended up changing to that video, but inherent in it, I do say you're going to have moments where you miss your narcissist. And like I said, the video ended up taking a different turn, and therefore it is entitled a different way. I almost was hesitant to make a video entitled this because none of us like to admit that we may still miss our narcissist. It's a tough thing to bite into, to swallow that truth, to understand that about ourselves. But I'm going to talk about it a little bit because I think about it in ways that aren't so harmful to my psyche. It's okay, in other words, if you feel that you miss your narcissist sometimes. And so in that video, 2 videos ago, I talk about it and how you'll have moments and you just process through them. So let's talk about it a little bit here so that especially new people, they understand when you're missing them. I know I'm jumping ahead, but it's not a sign. I'm trying to get it all out, and then I'll go back and fill in and explain. It's not a sign that you're supposed to be with them. It's not a sign from the almighty universe or God or whoever you believe that you're supposed to call them, reach back out to them. It's not a romantic notion of, oh, I've never felt this way before. He's the one I'm supposed to be with. To miss someone is to feel like there's an empty space where the person used to be, right? That's essentially what missing somebody is. It's generally reserved for people that you love. How else could you feel there's an empty space if it's somebody with whom you are friendly in work, or that you might not miss them? There's a space that's empty and punctuated by a person that used to be there. Okay? So you get a feeling of missing someone, and if you wallow in it long enough, it's like where it's experiencing them again. It's prolonging their space in that space. Even if they're not here anymore, it makes us relive them and feel their presence a little bit. So sometimes we hang on to that when we're missing them, right? And it used to make me like a little nervous, like, why am I still missing him? I think that it's our body's way, again with the self-preservation, it's like a consolation prize to replay memories of them when you don't have the real them. And you might say, well, that's torture. I don't want that. Why would that be a consolation prize? I'd rather it not happen. It's going to happen. It's human nature, right? This person took up this space for a while, however long it was. It's impossible for you not to think of them. They're woven in throughout memories and times and occasions of your life. It's gonna come up. You may even laugh at a memory. You might even smile. You might forget the bad for a minute. So that eases that. That's a little self-preservation. It might ease that a little. Oh, that was a nice memory. Please, the only thing is, if you do that, just come back. You want to drift off and laugh at a memory that you had and think of it as a good one? That's good. That's fine. I'm all for that. Just come back to the reality of now and remind yourself that it is just a memory, and don't forget all the bad. Quickly remind yourself of all of it. Okay, let me back up a second. When you are missing someone, it's human nature, like I said, for you to fill in a hole to think of someone that was in a space of your life in which there is now a hole. It's an empty space. You might be missing them, but it may not have anything to do with what you're thinking. It doesn't mean that I want you to cry and be sad, and just think of it as, I started to think of it as a physical thing. Okay, so he's not in that space, so it makes sense that my mind goes to that space. That space is still within me. I visit all parts of myself. You know what I mean? How you doing over here, insecurity? How you doing over here? You know what I mean? Like you. So I visit that space. It's empty. You think of that person. You miss them. I don't think that goes away as quickly as you may want it to. And you may be at the point now where I miss them so much. the question that I wanted to ask you about when you say you miss them is, what do you miss? I'm just going to wait while you think about it. Should I get a nail file? What do you miss? What? No, list it out for yourself. List it on a piece of paper. Take a pen to a paper. Write out what you list. Now, when you look at the list, I want you to identify which stage each one of those things happened. If you say, if your list is, well, I miss, he really treated me like a queen. He made me feel like I was on a pet. So that would be during the love bombing phase. That's who you miss, okay? Did you write the rest of the treatment down? I'll give you a minute. The devalue, the triangulation, the gaslighting, the cheating, the lying. Do you miss that? Because that's part of the truth of what happened. Actually, that's more of the truth of what happened than the beginning stages, which we all know that now. It is very, I know my mouth got tripped up for 5 minutes here, but because I have a lot to say on it and I'm trying to get it all out at once. It's very tricky on the mind when you miss someone that's mistreated you. It's very, 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 very tricky. And that has to do with the dissonance between their actions and their behaviors and their words to you. You're confused. You're confused. You're missing someone that did take up a space in your heart, mind, body, and soul. You thought they were going to be this big plan maybe in the future. That's all gone now. It's very normal to miss that. Regardless of how something exits your life, regardless of how something exits your life, it could be any circumstances, not just to break up with a narcissist. If something's in your life that you believe you love and then they're no longer in it, you're going to miss that person. They're not represented in that space anymore. There's a hole there. Now, the good news for you is, and you know, you may never fill that hole because they were a different person, but you'll create, we have space in our hearts more. That's why women can have 10 kids and love them all. We have more space, and men, I'm saying, I'm a woman, so that's where my mind goes, in our hearts for an unbelievable amount of love. You will create a whole new space in your being for a new person to fill. And that other space is going to get pushed aside. It doesn't mean you're not going to maybe still think of them. For years to come, I have bouts now where I have a distant memory of somebody. For a second, you chuckle, you laugh, you move on. It doesn't have to debilitate you into an all-out spin where you take it as a sign and you start to cry and then you reach out to them and then you call them and then you can't help yourself. I miss them. I have to hear their voice. I have to. Listen to an old message. Watch an old video. Better yet, listen to an old message where they're really mean. Not to torture yourself, but to remind yourself, if you're going to miss them, I want you to know all the facts. I want you to miss everything. You can't just miss the good. You got to miss the whole person. So do you miss the whole person? When you're done with this, make a list, pen to paper. When you say I miss them, I just miss them so much. I miss their voice. I miss the way they laughed. I miss the way, okay, all right, I can understand that. People have unique voices, unique laughing patterns. You might have gotten used to that. You liked having it around. Okay, I understand. But what else went with it? What came later? I'm not trying to minimize you missing those things. Miss them. But what came later? Don't just stop there and allow yourself, but I just miss them the way that they, okay, stop. What else came later? I want you to write it down so you don't forget. So next time you're missing them, you can look. Ooh, but this came 12 hours later after that nice memory. Ugh, I don't miss that. Wait, this was the next, ooh, I don't miss that either. Have them in front of you. That's what I did. I wrote them all out. I kept them up in front of me on that whiteboard for 2 months and stared at every single thing he did. And I was like, no, I don't miss any of that. It was very easy because it was right in front of me. I said, no, that was a big, ugly 3 months. So it made it a little easier. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's going to happen. Why do you miss them is because they were part of your life, part of the fabric of your life. But if you think of someone that may have come and gone in your life that was a complete negative force, you don't miss them. This person came attached with good memories too. This person came attached with love bombing and maybe treating you. I've told you before, mine treated me like a queen. I didn't do anything. That he's a massive love bomber. That's what he did. When I think of all of that, I don't miss it, but I might have a moment where I miss like the laughter. Because I think to myself, it was all with a fake person that was doing it. Yes, it was nice, but I think more in terms of what I've learned from that relationship being what I'd like to transfer forward and find or not find in the future. I use it as education. So if there's something that you're missing, okay, he made you laugh really hard, say, or you danced or whatever. Put it in your head. So add that to the list. It's okay that your narcissist has 1 or 2 qualities that you're looking for in somebody else if they're in the love bombing phase and you find it genuinely in somebody else. Do you follow what I'm saying? Like if you're like, oh, it was so nice. He would cook dinner. He really enjoyed it. I would sit there and watch him. Okay, you can find that in other company out there in the world. They're not the only person that's going to do that for you. Don't beat yourself up about it if you're still missing your narcissist or if moments come and go. Physically, your narcissist might bowl you over. That can be a very powerful force. If you have to see them or if you bump into them or if you think of them and you really just thought they were the bee's knees, that can be all it takes. Chemistry is a very powerful thing. And that's okay. Allow yourself that for a second. Go, swoon for a second. But then snap out of it and come back. Come back because you can't remain there. Don't let yourself linger there in that you're missing them and you're swooning over their dimples, moment. Have it. Accept the truth of it. Accept the non-truth that surrounded what he was passing off as the truth of it. Get to the nitty-gritty of what happened shortly thereafter the good memory, and it might make it easier to allow it to just pass through you. Don't act on it. Don't think it's a sign for you to call them. Don't make it want you to make you want to reach out. No, don't let it make you want to reach out. Because it'll pass. And the next day you might be feeling stronger and you'll be like, God, am I sorry I left that message. What are you going to do if they call you back? You don't want them anymore. Just because you miss them doesn't mean you want them around you still. They got into the fabric of your life. It is very, very normal. I just wanted to make sure that I pointed that out to you.